Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Just we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 20, text number 353. Okay. Savagya Munira Vakya Shastra Paramana Atma Shabha Jivirahaya Shastra Dwara Jnana Savagya Munira Vakya. The words of the omniscient Muni Vyāsadeva. Shastra Paramana, evidence of revealed scriptures. Amashaba, all of us. Jivera, of the conditioned souls. Haya, there is. Shastra Dwara, through the medium of revealed scriptures. Jnana, knowledge. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Vedic literatures composed by the omniscient Mahāmuni Vyāsadeva are evidence of all spiritual existence. Only through these revealed scriptures can all conditioned souls attain knowledge. Purport. Foolish people try to concoct knowledge by manufacturing something in their brains. That is not the real way of knowledge. Knowledge is Shabda Pramana, evidence from the Vedic literature. Srila Vyasadeva is called Mahāmuni. He is also known as Veda Vyas because he has compiled so many Shastras. He has divided the Vedas into 4 divisions: Sama, Rig, Yaja and Atharva. He has expanded the Vedas into 18 Puranas and has summarized Vedic knowledge in the Vedanta Sutra. He also compiled the Mahabharata, which is accepted as the 5th Veda. The Bhagavad Gita is also Vedic literature, Smriti. Some of the Vedic literatures are called Shrutis, and some are called Smritis. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-101 Shruti Smriti Purana Di Pancharatra Vidim Vina Aikantiki Hare Bhakti Upatayeva Kalpate. And this one refers to Shastra, Shruti, Smriti and Puranadi. One spiritual activity simply disturbs society. There is no king or government to check people, and therefore society has fallen into a chaotic condition as far as spiritual understanding is concerned. Taking advantage of this chaotic condition, many rascals have appeared and proclaimed themselves incarnations of God. As a result, the entire population is indulging in sinful activities such as illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. Out of many sinful people, many so-called incarnations of God are emerging. This is a very regrettable situation, especially in India. Okay. The Vedic literatures composed by the omniscient Mahāmuni Vyāsadeva are evidence of all spiritual existence. Only through these revealed scriptures can all conditioned souls attain knowledge. Okay. So there has to be some kind of authority for understanding. It is not enough to see. It's not enough to look out into the world and think that this gives a complete picture or a perfect understanding of the nature of reality. Why? Pasyana pina pasyati. Because there are those who see but do not see. As His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada stated, everything is seen according to one's fund of knowledge. It is therefore actually a myth to consider that you perceive anything without also having some conception, some idea that goes along with what you're seeing. So, that idea can come from various sources. The idea or the fund of knowledge which is attached to practically every single thing that we see. The fund of knowledge that is attached to every single event or situation we experience, that fund of knowledge has a source. It has a pramana. It is based upon something. It can be based upon just the perception, the pratyaksha. It can be based upon some type of inference. Best is if it's based upon Shabda. Shabda Pramana is the highest form of evidence. And it is extraordinarily powerful. Therefore, when an individual wants to work a change in society, the most intelligent individuals, in order to work a lasting change in society, will endeavor to work a change in the understanding of that particular society. There are extraordinarily powerful models in the Shastra. So just one example. So, let's see, what is it? Sambandha Gyan Abhideya Prayojana. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says that everything can be understood within these particular categories. Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. And one becomes a foundation for the other. Okay? So, the Sambandha Gyan is someone's understanding. If you work a change in an individual's Sambandha, that change will then automatically spill into their Abhideya, which is their activities. And it is only by an activity that one will achieve a particular prayojana or a particular goal. Okay? So, all is being done by His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada has perfectly understood the condition of society. And he has understood that the way to make a lasting shift in the orientation or the paradigm of modern society, to shift what their prayojana will be, to shift what they aim for, what they take as the goal of their life. To make a shift in that, you must make a shift in their Sambandha. Unless their understanding is different, the activities will not be different. Unless their activities are different, they will not achieve the transcendental goal. Therefore, he has distinctly written these books to work a change in the minds of human society. And by working a change in the minds of human society, he's actually redirecting the entire world civilization towards the ultimate goal, prema. How is this change enacted? Or how is this change executed? It is by giving people the real understanding of what they are engaging in and engaging with. Right? So everyone is going to engage in the external energy. or engaging literally with the world as it is. Right? But how they engage is based upon the conception. Why are people engaging in material activities? There's just one underlying conception, and that is that this material energy can make me happy. Right? That is the underlying conception or the underlying thought pattern. And as long as that thought pattern is there, nothing's going to change. Right? As long as the underlying thought pattern is there, that this material energy is going to make me happy, don't expect any changes to happen. Right? So as long as the concept is protected, that materialistic activity makes one happy, there will be no shift. So by the transcendental literatures, you change people's concept. You change people's understanding. And when their understanding changes, then their activities will be changing. And that understanding really sits in the heart when it is realized. That is the difference between Gyan and Vigyan. One has to have realized knowledge. So the knowledge is purifying in of itself, but there is also the sadhana to bring that knowledge to full fructification within the heart, within the consciousness. And how do you know that the knowledge is realized? You know that the knowledge is realized because the activities are different. You know that the knowledge is realized to the degree that one's goal of life has actually become transcendental. That's simple. How realized is any individual? Their degree of realization is the degree to which their entire life has been reoriented, not just externally, internally, deeply, dedicatedly reorientated towards the achievement of Krishna Prema. Very, very simple. That is how one will know. These revealed scriptures are evidence. Why? Very interesting. You can only understand the Supreme Lord if He decides to let you understand Him. The caveat is that those people who are dear to Him, who He is completely surrendered to, if they want you to understand, you will also understand. Why? Because He follows their lead. So when Srila Prabhupada approaches the Lord and says, we've arranged this deity, please enter into the form of this deity so that these devotees can worship you. Then Krishna turns to Prabhupada and says, okay, because you've asked me, right? I may not do it for anyone else, but because you've asked me, and you're my dear devotee, no problem. You've asked me, I cannot say no to you. That prema is so powerful, it literally controls the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then the compassion of the pure devotee makes that same Lord who is controlled by the pure devotee available to anyone and everyone. This is our transcendental culture. In this literature, Prabhupada begins by saying, foolish people try to concoct knowledge by manufacturing something in their brains. That is why the world doesn't work anywhere near as well as it could do. So I'm giving a presentation later today to an outside group. And this is a group of individuals who are coming because they're interested in personal development. And my whole presentation is about how you can't be anything you want. Right? They've come to hear how you can do it. You can realize your potential. You can be anything. And my whole presentation is you can't realize your potential. You can't be anything. This is completely bogus. And the whole idea is then explaining to them the principle of natures, that you're hardwired. Right? Unfortunately, in the outside world, the highest standard of human civilization is to own your own business, right? And to make lots of money. So everyone is aspiring to, you can be an entrepreneur, a millionaire, you can do it, you can change society, right? But you can't. The people who've done it, who are seemingly very wealthy, it's their karma, right? Their previous piety is the thing that has got them to that particular point. And if you don't have that particular karma for wealth, you can go to all the business courses that you like. You're not going to be the next Steve Jobs. Sorry. Right? But because of a poor fund of knowledge, people don't see. Right? What does this mean? What's the issue? The issue is that our society, our civilization, previous ages were more subtle. So there was actually an understanding, okay, you look into this room, everyone has a physical body, they have a human body. But in society which is more subtle, that's a given, but what you're looking at is a mentality. Okay, they're all humans, but they have different mentalities. So therefore, by different mentalities, they will have different duties. But we now live in a gross society. So therefore, it's not been caught that there are different mentalities. So therefore, you have one person who's actually got the mind of a business person. Right? They've got that acumen. It's inherent. So therefore, they're good with money. And it doesn't matter whether you take them on a course or not, they're going to be good with money. Because they've got the mind of a Vaishya. But everyone else who's on that business course, they're not going to make any money. Their pockets are just getting lighter. But because there's no scientific understanding, everyone thinks, well, so-and-so did it, therefore I can do it. And this is a huge problem. It's a huge problem. Even for materialists, without having this spiritual knowledge, it's so problematic. Why? Because even just in the materialistic sense, imagine this, just like the story of the ugly duckling. What is this so-called ugly duckling? You have a so-called ugly duckling trying to fit in with these other ducks. And what happens to that ugly duckling? What happens? He is rejected. Right? But is it a duck? Right? You know the story of the ugly duckling? Right? Is it actually a duck? No, what is it? It's a swan. But it's trying to fit in and being rejected. It's trying to fit in with something inferior, judging itself by the wrong standard, being rejected. You could imagine it thinking there's something wrong with me. No, you're just different. That's all. So even from the material perspective, people don't understand their natures, right? You have someone who's Brahminical, struggling very hard to make lots of money and do business. But no, you're a Brahmin. The other people, but my friends are doing it. Yeah, because all your friends are Vaishyas. Right? They have the mentality for that particular type of work. You don't. So if you understand what you're dealing with, sambandha, then you can align yourself with the activities which relate to that particular understanding, abhideya, and then you also have an informed idea of what you can strive for. It is very interesting. There's a seminar by Sureshwara Prabhu, one Prabhupada disciple, our founder Acharya. He gives a seminar, and he outlines the different statements that Prabhupada made about Varnashram at different times. Okay? In the beginning, Prabhupada's statement was that Varnashram cannot be instituted in this society. But over time, Prabhupada saw that people were leaving the movement. And he understood that one of the reasons is because they were unable to find their proper niche, in the sense of not feeling satisfied or peaceful because they weren't engaging according to their nature. So towards the end of Prabhupada's time on this planet, he stated Varnashram must be instituted. Now there's many wonderful things we can understand about this, right? So we can have a more deep and meaningful understanding about the principle of Shastra and how that principle is applied. Because the Shastra also says, you apply according to what? Desha Kalapatra. That is also in the Shastra. So the Shastra says, you apply me according to time, place and circumstance. The principle doesn't change. The principle doesn't change, but Acharya Vampurusha Veda. But one who knows the Acharya knows what's what. Right? Because the Acharya has the vision and the realization to see what is primary and what is secondary. What will be adjusted to achieve the goal at this particular day and age. One of the greatest criticisms that people had, very traditional Vedanta, those who are very traditionally steeped in the Vedas, one of the biggest criticisms they had is this: Prabhupada, how is it possible that he can allow men and women to live in the same building? Traditionally in Vedic culture, women do not practice Krishna consciousness in the temple. Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he studied the psychology of the people in the West. And he saw there is so much intermingling between the genders that to just try and make a very strong and rigid demarcation is not going to work. Very interesting. So he saw how to adjust secondary principles in order to achieve the primary. Not all the principles of the Shastra are equal. This is the point. Right? So there are certain injunctions which are primary and certain injunctions which are secondary. And the secondary can be adjusted in order to achieve the primary objective. What is the primary objective? Smartavyam satatam Vishnu. All these other injunctions are secondary to the goal of always remembering Krishna and never what? Never forgetting him. So it's not enough to have the Shastra. It has to have a deep and profound realization to see how to bring through the goal of the Shastra. It is very interesting. I think it was Canada. So the devotees bought a church, right? And so, in the church you have these pews, right? These kind of benches and so on. And so Prabhupada, I think some of you remember this past time, he told them, don't change any of these things. Keep the benches and so on. So when people come, they'll feel comfortable and they can hear the teachings. Right? But the devotees thought, no, this isn't Vedic. So Prabhupada probably doesn't really mean it. They got rid of all these things so people could sit on the floor. Even though distinctly the founder Acharya said, don't do that. He distinctly said, don't do that. It is amazing. This founder Acharya, he's so many steps ahead. So many steps ahead. Even this temple of the Vedic planetarium, you look at the building, look at the architecture. Does that architecture look like traditional Indian architecture? Not at all. Because he understands deeply, with deep realization, the commission that he's been given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to bring every single person practically throughout the entire world, every single culture and nationality, bring them to the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, what is being given through the pages of Srila Prabhupada's books is realized knowledge. It's not knowledge. This is realized knowledge. And there's a huge difference. A huge difference. This knowledge is empowered to deliver practically the entire world for the next 10,000 years. For the next 10,000 years. Every single word, every single sentence, this is premeditated. This understanding, these statements, this is premeditated, factually. And at the same time, it is so rigorously rooted in the teachings, right? In the depths of Vedic understanding. Here, for example, he mentions Shruti Smriti Purana Adi. Now there is a big issue that some people who have some understanding of the Vedic tradition have, right? So the Shruti relates to, as is explained here, the Samaveda, Rig Veda, Yaja Veda, Atharva Veda. Within the purview also of the Smritis, of the Shrutis, which means literally that which is heard, is also the Upanishads. So there are some people who say, okay, we accept Shruti, no problem, but we don't accept Smriti. Right? And the Puranas fall into the category of the what? The Smriti, okay? Including also Itihasa. So our Bhagavad Gita, which is section of the Mahabharata, Itihasa, Iti-ahasa. Thus it happened, it's history. Remind, history. Now very interestingly enough, people who say that we accept the Shruti but we don't accept the Smriti, that means that they don't accept the Shruti. Because the Chandogya Upanishad, which is part of the Shruti literatures, says very clearly that the Puranas are also Veda. Prabhupada will sometimes quote that the Mahabharata is the 5th Veda. Right? That statement by Srila Prabhupada, it stands on the basis of Shastra. It's not something he's making up. So you can't say you accept Shruti, but you don't accept Smriti, because the Shruti says that the Smriti is also Veda. It's also classed as original Vedic literature. And what is being brought out here in the purport is all coming from the same person. Veda Vyas, Vyasadeva, the divider. One who divided the different verses, the different Vedic statements into different literatures for the sake of helping humankind. Veda Vyas. So, within the literatures we understand that there are conclusions. There is a conclusion. And we know that the highest Praman is Srimad Bhagavatam. The spotless Purana. Purana. Pura Nava. Pura means old, Nava means new. So Purana means that which is old made new. So it is giving the ultimate knowledge, the ultimate conclusion. And then within the Bhagavad Purana in particular, we understand the Paribhas Sutra is there. First canto, chapter 3, text number 28, the Emperor verse. The Vedic literatures have a Paribhas Sutra. They have an Emperor verse which explains in essence, in a concise form, the ultimate conclusion and the essential meaning of that particular literature. Ete chamsa kalapamsa Krishna stu Bhagavan Swam. There are many incarnations of Krishna. Many incarnations of God. But Krishna is not an incarnation of God. Tu means but. Krishna is not an incarnation. He is Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam means original, Bhagavan, one who is complete in 6 opulences. So the original personality of Godhead is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. And this is the person who is to be worshipped. That Krishna, Raja Krishna, the Krishna who is existing in his original form with all sweetness in Goloka Vrindavan, we are being given an opportunity to align ourselves in the tradition of offering worship to that Supreme Personality of God, the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is an extraordinary opportunity. An absolutely extraordinary opportunity. A rare opportunity. And therefore, the intelligence is the ability to take full advantage of that which is extremely rare. Okay, so it's 8:30, so we'll stop there. Questions, is that okay? Yes. Excuse me.
Just say that.
Okay.
You were speaking about Sambandha Gyan,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wondering how do we get Sambandha Gyan? What is the process of getting? Because this is this devotee in the past times of Lord Chaitanya who couldn't read Bhagavad Gita, and Lord Chaitanya said that he actually understood. So we're studying here, but he didn't actually study. So what is the process of getting?
Very good point. One has to follow the acharya. So that what you're giving is almost like an exception. Yeah, the person was very sincere. Right, so there's two levels. The first level is Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna accepts the essence of a devotee's service. So sincerity is the fact that I am sincerely doing everything I can to follow the previous acharyas, to serve the Lord, and in that way to realize Him. Okay? So it begins like that. Second point is the sincerity will manifest differently for different people based upon the external circumstances. Okay? That person was illiterate, he couldn't read. But he's doing everything he can given that limitation is there. Therefore he gets that result. Now, for us, we can read. So, us being sincere and doing the best we can means that we are also hearing the literature, studying it, we're doing our service under guidance. You see the point? So how does sincerity manifest in different people's lives? It means that they're doing the best that they can. The emblematic story that's given is a pastime in Ramayana, where Hanuman is throwing these huge boulders and there is some other creature who's also doing something. But they're doing, comparative to Hanuman, it seems much less. And Hanuman actually basically tells them to, let the big guys, take control, kind of thing, yeah? But Lord Ram immediately chastises him and said, no, you're doing what you can according to your capacity. They're doing what they can according to their capacity. Therefore, in the eyes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's actually equal. You see the point? This is why it's very, very important to be very personal in Krishna consciousness. Each individual devotee has their own capacity. Now, what you're looking to do, what one has to be careful to do, is to be doing the very best they can given the situation. Right? Given their capacity. For example, you'll find, factually speaking, if a devotee can just read, study, relish all day, what varna are they likely to have? They're likely to be Brahmana, right? So you don't judge everyone by the fact that this person can do that all day for Krishna, right? You engage everyone according to their propensity, but they should be doing the best that they can. And if you're doing the best that they can, if we're doing the best that we can, Krishna will look upon that devotee, okay, they're giving 100%. That will elevate that particular person. We're personalists. So the best that each person is doing doesn't look the same. Yeah? But if they're doing the best that they can in devotional service, then there'll be fantastic results. Yeah? So the Sambandha comes by way of Prabhupada's books and teachings, by way of discussion. It also comes by way of service. Because by service, it is revealed. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita, right? Every day when we're singing the Guru Vandanam, our honouring the spiritual master, we say he opens my darkened eyes and he fills my heart with what? With transcendental knowledge. That's what we're singing. Those are the prayers that we sing every morning. These prayers have been selected by the founder Acharya. Specifically because they give essential understanding and essential blessings. By the mercy of the spiritual master, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, we are able to realize this knowledge. And we have to be doing our best. Does that answer your question?
So Sambandha Gyan is basically revealed when you do best?
It's by endeavor to understand and follow, and by endeavoring to use what you understand in service to the Supreme Personality of God and His devotees. When you do that, everything is revealed. Yeah? There's a story, a pastime, One person came to see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he had all these philosophical questions, right? And so, he approached Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and he said, I have all these very deep technical questions, etc. And Maharaj said, okay, go and ask the pujaris. And he didn't quite understand why is he telling me to ask the pujaris, but he was humble, which is another ingredient for realizing knowledge. He was humble. Right? So this knowledge is meant to be heard submissively. It's not enough to hear. Submissive oral reception. So he went to help the pujaris, he went to ask the pujaris. They said, okay, we can ask you questions, but first just help us to prepare the deity's paraphernalia. So he did it. Then later on, after he did that, he was leaving, and as he was leaving, he saw Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Maharaj asked him, he said, but you had some questions? He said, yes, but when I was doing the service, all the answers came. Right? All the answers came. So it's not one or the other. We do both. Yeah? We do the best you can. If we are in a position to study and serve, practically we should be doing both. Yeah? Because Krishna wants to see that you're doing the best that you can. And to that degree there's reciprocation. That's real yayatamam prapadyante. Yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, should we stop there? Yes? Okay. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Janata Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu, one more time. We read Sankirtan's course from yesterday. Okay. Starting with Radha's Boutique. We distributed in Radha's Boutique yesterday 5 books and collected total of 220 Lakshmi points. Haribol! And in Transcendental Govinda's restaurant, yesterday, the number of transactions is not mentioned, so we don't know how many people we served, but we collected total of 2,919.61 Lakshmi point. Haribo! And yesterday, 3 devotees were outside on street Harinam. These courses are submitted, starting with Nam Sankirtan Das. He collected 55 Lakshmi points and distributed 12 medium books and 10 Maha big books for 26 book points. Haribol! His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. 83 Lakshmi points, 90 small books, 15 medium books for 30 book points. Haribo! So Prabhupada is still active even after marathon. So we don't know how. Books are not around him, but in some mystical way. Yeah.
Someone put the foreign currency in marathon. $100 notes.
Okay.
So we exchange it.
Okay, perfect. Haribo! Okay, and first position, Rishi Roy Goranga Das. 198 Lakshmi points, 11 small books, 57 medium books, and 30 Maha big books on a very cold day. 91.25 book points. Haribo! So altogether, 3 devotees, 336 Lakshmis, 101 small book, 84 medium, and 40 Maha big for 147.25 book points. Haribo! Okay, so the question is whether we're gonna serve breakfast here or downstairs?
Serve it here.
Here. Okay. So now we need volunteers for service. Okay. Thank you very much. As well as cleaning temple room afterwards. That's an amazing opportunity. So many devotees are raising hands. It's wonderful. Okay. At least At least 5 devotees will help. Thank you very much. Okay, we will say a prayer prior to Prashadam. Dear Shri Shri Radha Londonishvara, Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra, Shri Shri Gonitai and Giri Govardhan, we offer our most respectful obeisances unto you. In a mood of deep gratitude and appreciation, we request your causeless mercy upon us. For your pleasure, if you so desire, we wish to erect a holy place of your transcendental pastimes that will attract unlimited souls to your service and fulfill the vision of your pure devotee Srila Prabhupada for London. Please enable us to cooperate together in order to satisfy you in this way. We, your surrendered servants, humbly beg. New temple for Radha Londonishvara ki jai. Haribol. Prashadam chain, please.
Yeah.